Hello. Hey, guess what? Guess what I did today? I went to the Throne of Eldraine Prerelease. Yay! It was pretty cool. Not many people went, which was great. And I did horrible. So, hey, all right. But I'm here to show you my deck. All right. So I went with a blue-black deck. And let's start off with creatures in no order whatsoever. Fairy Vandal. It's a 1/2, or a 1 and a blue. Creature with flying, has flash, and whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it. This one, when I've seen other videos, everyone was saying how great this one did, which in theory it does do well, but yeah, it. But my opponents kept killing it. Mistford River Turtle. Pay 3 generic and a blue. I never got a chance to play this one, so. But I mean, it had a big butt, and it would have been a good blocker if I ever casted it. See, Bellow of the Bra. I put this one in because I had a few knights. It has Menace, and whenever it attacks other knights you control, get +1/+0 until the end of turn. Reaper of Night. My thought behind this one was, hey, I could play it for the Harvest Sphere and have my opponent discard 2. This is another creature that I wasn't even able to play once. I just never drew it. Hypnotic, I could use it as an instant to counter spell with converted mana cost 3 or less. I was able to get this off once or twice. A 2/1 flying. Lost Legion. This one I was able to get on the board a couple times for 2 black and a generic. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2. This actually helped a couple times to put a bunch of lands on the bottom of my deck. This is just the artwork in this is pretty cool. Animating Fairy. I was not able to cast it for the Bring to Life. Target non-creature artifact you control becomes a 0/0/0 artifact creature. Put 4 +1/+1 counters on it. I really didn't have any artifacts in this. I just put it in because it was a 2/2 flyer and because the artwork was pretty neat. This one did a lot of work. The Merfolk Secret Keeper. At first I used it for the sorcery, and it reads, target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. Once I milled them for 4, I was easily able to cast it as a 0/4 blocker for 1 mana, and we'll get back to this one in a little bit. It's a legendary creature, Human Knight. See, there's a couple of knights in here. And it says, the power is equal to the number of cards in your hand. The reason I put this in here is because I have a lot of card draw, and at one point I was able to get it to a 4/4. Yeah, wow. In theory it should have done well, but once again, yeah. This one I was able to play a couple times, a bunch of times. Actually, I played it with this one copy. I played it during every match. And it reads, when Cauldron Familiar enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. And I can sacrifice a food, return it from the graveyard to the battlefield. I did not have many foods. This one, it's shiny. I put this one in because it has flying. That's it, basically it. But the sorcery for this one, you may choose a non-creature card you own from the outside of the game, reveal it, put it into your hand. I really didn't have anything for it to go get, but it'll go well in a standard. I don't really know where this would. Yeah, standard. It'll do well in standard, I guess. I don't really play standard, but that's cool. Oh, and then this side, pay 2, discard 2 cards, and then return it to the owner's hand. In case someone like tries to kill it, I guess. And here's another knight. With Menace, if at least 3 black mana was spent to cast a spell, this fool gets a +1/+1 counter on it. And now for the instance. Opt. Has Opt never been like not printed? You can scry one and then draw a card, because card drawing is good. Bake into a pie. Destroy target creature and then create a food token. Run away together. This one was just used to bounce one of their creatures and one of mine back into each other's hands. This one goes really well, or went well, with Merfolk Secret Keeper. And what was cool, it's like I would bounce this back to my hand, and then play it for the sorcery again, and have them mill again. And this I had, let's see, had 3 of those. Festive Funeral, more removal. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in my graveyard. Lash of Thorns. I never once got it to play this one, but it's just, I was going to use it as like removal because of the Death Touch, but I never got to play it. Mystical Dispute. I was able to counter a couple things with this. So, hooray! They're sorceries. This one actually did some work. Or, this one was actually pretty alright. Because it says, target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a non-land card from that player's graveyard or hand and exile it. And then you may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled. And you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. This was cool to get like their biggest creature and play it. I was able to do that twice. Forever Young. I have 2 of these. And it reads, put any number of target creature cards from your graveyard on top of your library. Then draw a card. Again, after this was in my graveyard, I would cast this, put this one on top of my library, draw a card, and then play it again, and mill them for 4 more. If I had more Merfolk Secret Keepers, this would have been an awesome mill deck, but I did not. But a couple of times I got pretty close to milling them out before they killed me. So I had 2 of those in there. Unexplained Vision. Just pay 5, draw 3 cards. And then, if at least 3 blue mana was spent to cast this spell, scry 3. But this would have been better if it said scry 3 first and then draw 3. But, you know, this is I tried to play this one once but it got countered. So, yay! This one actually did some work. I was able to cast this a couple times. Stolen by the Fae. Return target creature with converted mana cost X to its owner's hand. You may create X 1/1 blue fairy creature tokens with flying. This was able to make me a bunch of blockers. The enchantments. So tiny. For one, it has flash, and I can enchant a creature. Enchanted creature gets -2, -0, or it gets -6 instead, as long as its controller has 7 or more cards in their graveyard. So, because a lot of times I was able to mill them, their creatures would get -6. This one I was able to play often, and it kept me in the game for a while. Revenge of Ravens. It's an enchantment, and whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, that creature's controller loses 1 life and you gain a life. So, yeah. The artifacts. Witching Well. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2. And then it can come in for 1. And then later on, I can pay 3 generic and a blue, sacrifice it, and draw 2 cards. Magic Mirror. It reads, this spell costs 1 less to cast for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. As you saw, I did have a lot of instants and sorcery cards in my deck. So I was able to cast this 0 times, and let's see, I have no maximum hand size. And at the beginning of your upkeep, put a knowledge counter on the Magic Mirror. Then draw a card for each knowledge counter on the Magic Mirror. This is going to be great in my Locust God. Hopefully. I just have to figure out what to take out of that. Midnight Clock. Look, it's shiny. This was my promo card. And it reads, I can tap it for a blue, and pay 2 and a blue, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. At the beginning of each upkeep, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. And the bottom part, when the 12th hour counter is put on Midnight Clock, shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library. Then draw 7 cards. Exile Midnight Clock. This one I put in because I thought I was going to be drawing a lot of cards and I didn't want to mill myself. That did not happen at all. I was nowhere near that. But this would have been cool. And this one is also going to go in my Locust God deck. I also got some lands. Mystic Sanctuary. Comes in tapped unless you control 3 or more islands. And at the bottom it says, when Mystic Sanctuary enters the battlefield untapped, you may put target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of the library. Or your library. So, yeah. And Witch's Cottage. Similar to Mystic Sanctuary. See, if it comes in untapped if you control 3 or more swamps. Except this one, when it comes in untapped, you may put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. I was able to use this a couple times to play this merfolk again to try to mill them out. And yeah, that was my deck. In theory, it was supposed to work, but you know, it did not. But oh well, I got some good cards for my commander deck, so that's cool. Okay, I just wanted to show you what I played. And yep. Okay, bye.